Dickie's Diary 116. Good day, friends, followers and fans. I have been watching the latest developments regarding the Australian Open 2022 just recently. Some of you may be aware that the Joker, Mr. Djokovic, posted on his Instagram account that he was coming to Oz to play in the gentlemen's singles, an event he has won 10 times already. He must have been feeling very pleased with himself, as this must surely be his best chance of securing that elusive 21st Grand Slam win of his illustrious career, thus overtaking Federer and Nadal. The previous holder of the most Aussie Open wins was held by Roy Emerson, who won a remarkable 6 times. He was stopped in his tracks in 1961 by a young 16-year-old gifted prodigy, the name of whom escapes me. Oh yes, that's right, it was Richie A. Hardwick, my good self. I was the party pooper, the spoil sport, the apple cart tipper. Poor old Remmers couldn't cope with my precocious talent and bad boy reputation. Not to mention my vicious forehand slider service. He was overwhelmed by the tour de force of the young kid on the block. The newspapers, remember them, came up with a suitable nickname for me, the Dickinator. A little risque for the 60s. But I didn't mind, as I wanted to polish the gold leaf nameplate into a shining lustre of invincibility. Those were the glory days, but it didn't last. A success went to my head, and my career disintegrated into chaos with every wild party attended, every glamorous model dated, every recreational drug abused, and every racket busted. Although I have noticed that the Joker has a tendency to break rackets too. But it hasn't ruined his career. I guess tournament referees are a little more forgiving these days, especially with so much money at stake. A racket is easily replaced. In my day, if you broke a racket, you needed to borrow one from a friend or someone in the crowd before you went back on court. These modern players are given dozens of them, and they have sponsorships up to their arses. Speaking of which, I wonder if Rafter has got his underwear sponsorship renewed again this year. Sadly for the Joker, the Australian government has changed the rules for entry visas again, and not notified Tennis Australia. The usual miscommunication gaffe. So when he entered at the airport last week, the gendarmes would not let him through. You shall not pass. He was detained and questioned for hours, and then dumped into a quarantine hotel where he has been languishing and planning his appeal for the past few days. He will have his day in court, if not on the court. This is wonderful for someone like me, who loves a good comedy, and even better a good farce. This is the best laugh I have had since the last time the Aussie government did something stupid like this, which is fairly recently, and regularly. The current crop of Aussie players are very happy about these developments, as they don't want to have to face the Joker on the court in a tournament that he keeps winning. One of our players stated recently, I hope they don't let him play. He'll be really angry, and he'll give the first person he meets a sound thrashing. I wouldn't like to have to stand and face him myself, not with my knees anyway. And you can't blame him for losing his temper. Even the Joker has his limits. It's hard to see the funny side of this debacle, even for the Joker. He's not laughing now, is he? Ciao.